This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Good morning. An officer shot in the face, and the National Security Minister says crime is rising despite harsher sentencing. Plus, the countdown is on to Carifta. It's all straight ahead this morning. I'm Dwight Strachan, and this is Morning Blend.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of the new way.
Good morning again, Bahamas. It is Wednesday, March 29th, 2023. This is Morning Blend on 86.9. Again, I'm Dwight Strachan, and this... Joining me in a moment will be Chester Robards. Also this morning, more of what's making news in the business world. A lot to talk about this morning. But first, it's time for the overnight, the latest breaking news from while you're sleeping, and the top national and international headlines this morning. In the overnight, 3 men have been arrested now after a police officer was shot in the face. It happened early yesterday morning. The shooting taking place after officers attempted to intercept a vehicle on Robinson Road. Chief Superintendent Kristen Skipping says officers attached to Operation Ceasefire were on routine patrol on Robinson Road east of East Street when they observed a black note with 3 men speeding. Skipping says officers attempted to stop the vehicle when the rear seat passenger opened fire, which resulted in the driver of the police cruiser being shot in the face. The officer was transported to the hospital where he's listed in stable condition. The vehicle recovered in the Garden Hills area, and the 3 men arrested. Skipping a search of the area was immediately conducted by officers of the K-9 unit. That resulted in the discovery of a large quantity of suspected marijuana. Chief Superintendent Michael Johnson says 2 of the 3 suspects were on bail for very serious offenses, and he said one of the men was on bail for murder and being electronically monitored. While responding to calls for more serious action to fight and deter crime in the country, National Security Minister Wayne Munro saying that while sentences have steadily increased in severity, there's been no corresponding decrease in the incidence of violent crime. Munro saying, quote, there has been an escalation in violent crime in the Bahamas, as in other countries in this region and in the world. There goes out a cry for drastic actions, carry out capital punishment, increase sentences, or remand without bail for all charges with serious offenses without exception. The efficacy of these proposed efforts are advanced passionately without any attempt to underpin them or justify them with actual measurable metrics or facts. We just say it. Munro says the facts show that in his time in practice, from 1990 to today, sentences have steadily increased in severity, but there's been no corresponding decrease in the incidence of violent crimes. The minister saying the movement for the reduction of age of hitmen is also, quote, troubling to the extent that we must address our intervention programs at an earlier stage. Meanwhile, FNM Deputy Leader calling on the government to move with a sense of urgency and resolve to address the rising crime in the country. He said, quote, despite promises by the government to tackle crime in a significant way, murders and gun violence continue to escalate at a record pace, with 25 murders in the first quarter of this year. The Court of Appeal rejecting the appeal of a man found guilty of the murder of a pregnant woman Alastair Williams was sentenced to 55 years imprisonment in 2020 after he was convicted of the September 2016 murder of 35-year-old Guyanese teacher Marisha Bowen. Bowen was found naked in a blood-soaked bed with a belt around her neck in her apartment on Red Sea Road. She had been strangled and was stabbed repeatedly in the neck. Williams' DNA was found under her fingernails, in blood near the bedroom door and her vagina. He was also found with cell phones that belonged to Bowen and her son, according to an oral statement made to Inspector Addison Ferguson following his arrest near a grocery store in Garden Hills. Williams claimed that another man was responsible for the murder. However, he reportedly told the officer that he got the phones from the killer. Public Defender James Thompson argued that the oral statement ought not to have been admitted into evidence since the trial judge did not allow Williams' interview into evidence after police could not satisfactorily explain how he received injuries to his body. Thompson also argued that the case ought to have been withdrawn at the close of the prosecution's case because the evidence was tenuous. The Court of Appeal rejected Thompson's grounds of appeal. The court ruled that there was no suggestion that he made the alleged statement under duress, but rather that he never made them. The Justices of Appeal said that while it was regrettable that the trial judge did not give a robust how to treat the alleged oral statement, it was not fatal to the case. And the trial of two businessmen accused of money laundering after authorities found $2.4 million after a jet landed in Anagua. The trial's been set now for July. Magistrate Shaka Seville setting trial dates for July 26th through 31st for Dwayne Bass and Ankin Love when they appeared before him for a fixture hearing yesterday. This charge stems from the seizure of more than $2 million by officers from the unit on September 23, 2021. Both men are on bail for $16,000. Overseas, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu today rebuffing U.S. President Joe Biden's suggestion that the premier walk away from a contentious plan to overhaul the legal system, saying the country makes its own decisions. The exchange was a rare bout of public disagreement between the two close allies and signals building friction between Israel and the U.S. over Netanyahu's judicial changes, which he postponed after massive protests. Asked by reporters late Tuesday what he hopes the premier does with the legislation, Biden replied, quote, "I hope he walks away from it." The president added that Netanyahu's government, quote, "cannot continue down this road," and urged compromise in the plan, memorialing Israel. The president also stepped around U.S. Ambassador Thomas Nide's suggestion that Netanyahu would soon be invited to the White House, saying that this was not going to happen in the near term. Netanyahu replied that Israel is sovereign and, quote, makes its own decisions by the will of its people and not based on pressures from abroad, including from the best of friends. The frosty exchange coming a day after Netanyahu called for a halt to his government's contentious legislation to avoid civil war in the wake of 2 consecutive days of mass protests that drew tens of thousands of people to Israel's streets. And with the Carifta Games in sports, with the Carifta Games being held here in the Bahamas for a record 9th time, and with this being the 50th anniversary year for the country's independence and of the Carifta Games itself, the host nation has every intention of being well represented. The B3A is ratifying a full 80-member squad lately and releasing those names to the public in a press conference Tuesday. And now the team will begin its final preparation stages. 50th Oak Tree Carifta Games. And they're coming from all over the country. You can read all about it in today's Guardian Sports section. Bahamian Anthony Strachan cracking open her 2023 outdoor season in a blazing 11.02 seconds 100 meters race at the MVP Velocity Fest 12 in Jamaica Saturday. After clocking 11.42 in the preliminaries, Strachan returned later that day and clocked the winning time to post the second fastest time in the world so far this year. Only New Zealand's Zoe Hobbs has a faster time of 10.97 seconds that she ran back on March 11th. And the Bahamas senior men's national soccer team down 1-0 in the second half of on the road against St. Vincent and the Grenadines, but found the willpower to pull off an equalizer. They needed a savior with less than 30 seconds left in the game. A goal came from none other than team captain Marcel Joseph in the 70th minute, and the game ended in a 1-1 draw in Kingstown in St. Vincent and the Grenadines on Monday. That tie means the Bahamas finished third in the League B Group C action of the CONCACAF Nations League. They finished with 4 points in a 1-4-1 win-loss draw record. St. Vincent and the Grenadines went winless in the group, finishing with 0-4-2 with only 2 points. Read more on this in today's Guardian Sports section. That's sports, and that's the overnight. Time for your first look at weather. In your weather, we've got high pressure over the area that will continue to shift eastwards as a cold front across Florida will advance southeastwards, entering the northwest Bahamas by this evening. There is a threat of water spouts today, mainly for the northwest Bahamas as that front approaches. So for today, for the northwestern islands, look for partly sunny, very warm and humid conditions with a few scattered showers and the chance of isolated thunderstorms. Partly cloudy tonight with isolated showers possible. Gusty winds and higher seas expected in showers and thunderstorms, and a small craft caution will come into effect behind the front today. Winds south to southwest at 10 to 15 knots, falling light and variable at times ahead of the front, becoming northwest to north and increasing to 15 to 20 knots behind the front. Seas 2 to 4 feet ahead of the front, but building 4 to 6 feet behind the front. For the central and southeast Bahamas, partly to mostly sunny and very warm with a chance of a few isolated showers today, mainly fair and warm tonight with a stray shower or two possible. Wind southeast to south at 10 to 15 knots, falling light and variable at times, seas 2 to 4 feet. Temperatures getting up to around 86 Fahrenheit, 30 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to 73 Fahrenheit, 23 Celsius. That's your first look at weather this morning. We'll have an extended outlook coming up after traffic in just a bit. It's time for a break, but when we come back, we're discussing the day's top stories right here on Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Your home for fresh news and smart talk all day.
Tired of paying too many bills and loan payments each month?
Shrink your monthly debt payments down to one easy payment with our debt consolidation loan.
It also has a built-in savings that pays you 5% interest.
Inquire about our debt consolidation loans today.
Call 356-7764.
When faced with an illness like cancer, we band together, and we at Cleveland Clinic in Florida have your back. From advanced cancer treatments to extra safety measures at all of our locations, we're with you on this journey for every infusion and follow-up, for every step of the way, for every care in the world. Cleveland Clinic in Florida. Get the care you need when and where you need it. To learn more or connect with a local representative, visit clevelandclinic.org/Caribbean.
Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street, has those hard-to-find fasteners for you right now. You can find stainless steel regular hex, carriage bolts, galvanized bolts, threaded rods, nails, self-tap screws, sex bolts, anchor bolts, turnbuckles, masonry tools, hand tools, and weed whacker strings. Check out the rope selection and car body fasteners, too. Special orders are welcome. It's your #1 fastener store. Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Streets. Call 326-1976.
Carifta is almost here, and the Live has partnered with TCL for you to capture gold at the 2023 Carifta Games. Switch to Alive and get a free TCL 30 Plus or TCL 30 SE on select Alive postpaid plans to share pictures and videos of our Bahamian athletes as they hit the tracks to win gold. Visit your nearest Alive store or mobile van location and come gold with us at the 2023 Carifta Games.
You could win your share of $1,000 and free annual memberships when you apply for your Mobile Assist Visa Travel Rewards Card. It's a prepaid Visa that gives you access to travel and online shopping deals worldwide every single day. Enter automatically when you successfully apply through our Mobile Assist app. Use your prepaid Visa 5 times or more, and you are automatically entered to win your share of $1,000. See our social media pages for more details. Apply, save, and win with Mobile Assist.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's here. It's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We're streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969 or Facebook.com/Morning Blend 969. Text us 422-4796. Standard text rates apply on our BTC-powered text line. Once again, Dwight Strong with you, along with Chester Robards. Good morning, Chester Robards.
Good morning.
Great to have you with us.
Glad to be here.
Okay, you got a weird look on your face. Is everything okay?
Yeah, everything's cool.
All right. I was telling Chester off here about, you've heard us talk about it a lot on the show, colonoscopies. It is Colon Cancer Awareness Month. Mm-hmm. And I'm sadly at that age, or is it a great thing? Yes, it's a great thing. I'm at that age now. So I'm going for the colonoscopy. We're going to...
Good job, Dwight.
Well, depending on how it turns out, we'll document it and let you next week discuss some of it.
When you say documented, what do you mean?
I don't know. We're working that out.
Okay.
But yes, I'm doing this for you, the behaving people.
Mm-hmm. Hope you convince lots of other people to go and get their colonoscopy.
Yes, absolutely. All right. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to have a wonderful few days. This is going to be... Oh, gosh. It's going to be special. Anyway, coming up this morning, hey, the countdown is on to Carifta, the Easter holiday weekend, and the team's been named, and you've been near the stadium. A lot's happening out there.
What has the team been named?
What do you mean?
Oh, the names of the members.
Yes.
Okay.
What?
I thought you got a special name for Carifta.
Oh, God. Oh, Chester. Oh, boy.
Still a bit early.
They're calling them the Bahamas Bahamians. That's what they're calling them.
I like it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so we're going to find out more about where things stand in this countdown. Easter's fast approaching. April is Saturday. Can you believe it? And so all that's coming up and a lot more this morning. But let's begin with what else is in the news. All right, and the latest headlines are terrifying, folks. What's been happening over the past few days, but this has been the year we've been seeing in the Bahamas, right? The number of shootings, the number of murders, just crime in general. And really, really, really very disturbing. The headline in this morning's Guardian: crime rising despite harsher sentencing. That's according to Wayne Monroe, the National Security Minister. We're going to get into what he's talking about in just a bit. I have some issues with some of the things I've read so far, but we'll talk about that. But the big story, yesterday we learned about this, and this is very, very scary. An officer shot in the face during a chase yesterday morning. And this happened as some other incidents were going on, a police-involved shooting, and just warnings now from the police, because it doesn't seem like some criminals get it, that don't try to engage the police.
Well,
right?
Most criminals are thick.
In the bad ways. Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And, so take a listen to this report from our Paige McCartney.
While police arrested 3 men early this morning after that officer was shot while attempting to intercept a vehicle. Reports are that officers attached to Operation Ceasefire were on routine patrol on Robinson Road east of East Street when they observed a speeding black Nissan Note occupied by 3 men. Officers reportedly attempted to stop the vehicle when the rear seat passenger of the Note opened fire, which resulted in the driver of the police cruiser being shot to the face. The 31-year-old officer was transported to hospital where he's listed in stable condition, and the vehicle was later recovered in the Garden Hills area. While police returned to the scene of that incident this morning, Chief Superintendent of Police Michael Johnson said 2 of the 3 suspects believed to be involved in that incident are on bail for very serious offenses. He said one of the men is on bail for murder and is being electronically monitored.
And we continue to see this with these persons who are on bail for these serious matters. One is outfitted with an ankle monitor. They continue to offend, although being on bail, and continue to offend for the same type serious matter that they are on bail for. We will not be discouraged, and when we determine that if the evidence suggests that these persons are indeed our suspects, as we are early in the investigation, they are assisting us with some information, they will be put before the court.
That incident was the second in 24 hours in which police were in the line of fire. Police say officers were forced to shoot a motorist yesterday during a routine traffic stop after they feared for their lives. We're told just after 10 a.m., those officers with the mobile division stopped a white Nissan Cube south of Coxway after concluding its 4 passengers were acting suspiciously. They ordered the 3 men and 1 woman out of the vehicle. They complied with the order, but one of the men reportedly refused to follow other orders and then allegedly pulled a weapon. We're told officers were in fear of their lives and then opened fire, hitting the suspect, who fled on foot into a nearby yard. As officers pursued, that suspect later returned to the main road where he collapsed. We're told he's in serious condition in hospital, and the officers reportedly confiscated marijuana and ammunition from him. Well, Chief Superintendent of Police Chrislyn Skippings had this stern message to criminals who seek to engage law enforcement officials.
Those who seek to wreak havoc on our beautiful Bahamas, we will not tolerate your behavior. We will not. We will not tolerate you seeking to engage police officers who are authorized to protect the citizens of this great country. When you seek to engage police officers, I can say to you, police officers are qualified, they have the necessary training, which could likely result in someone who seek to engage the police being fatally wounded.
In other news,
okay, our Paige McCartney with that report there. Wow.
That's crazy.
It is all wild, very wild.
So can I say the first thing, and I just learned something. The first thing that came to me was I thought police cars were armored, to be honest.
Where?
Exactly.
In this country?
Yeah.
What?
I thought that bullets couldn't penetrate their glass.
Oh, okay. You see, they drive off in little verses.
Well, especially that squad that's going around doing things like they do. So, are any police vehicles armored?
I'm not too sure, but it's very costly. It would be, and I don't know if they could.
They could buy less cars and soup up the ones they got.
No, they already have a problem with not having enough vehicles.
Oh, is that what
it would be a big problem.
Okay.
But
I'm sure they could find some money. I'm sure the U.S. Embassy got some stuff they're using that's armored.
But that's it's come to that. It's come to that where people think, yeah, it's a good idea. We're going to shoot at the cops. This is what.
Well,
I mean, it's been happening.
Clearly,
they
do
shoot
shoot at the cops with it. I mean,
okay. Well, we've got some bigger problems. If that is right, if that is a widespread thing, we know it happens once in a while. But if that is a widespread view, that we could shoot it out and outrun them, and that would be that.
I don't know. I mean, we don't expect these criminals to have sense, right? Because that don't make sense.
Well.
And it took them how long to catch the two of them? Like a couple hours, if that.
Yeah. Well, here we go again. As you heard, Chief Superintendent Michael Johnson saying that 2 of the 3 suspects were out on bail for very serious offenses. One of the men out on bail for murder, of course, and was being electronically monitored. Yeah. So, this is happening. The FNM's calling for the government to do more, and the National Security Minister speaking at the University of the Bahamas last night in a lecture on maintaining law and order. But he says that while sentences have steadily increased in severity, I mean, if that's the case, what were they before? Anyway, there's been no corresponding decrease in the incidence of violent crime. Monroe said, quote, undoubtedly, there has been an escalation in violent crime in the Bahamas as in other countries in this region and in the world. There goes out a cry for drastic actions, carry out capital punishment, increase sentences, or remand without bail for all charged with serious offenses, without exception. The efficacy of these proposed efforts are advanced passionately without any attempt to underpin them or justify them with actual measurable metrics or facts. We just say it. Well, let's just stop right here. So we won't have any measurable metrics or facts because we don't do any of these things. They're just calls, right? So capital punishment, when was the last time that happened? There's a whole bunch of adults who've never heard, seen, experienced any of this during their lifetime. It's not happened. Generation, right? Increased sentences.
Has it been a generation already? No, because I've been around.
I was at the Tribune, and when did I leave there? I was a kid. I left there.
Don't make me feel old.
No.
I don't know if it's been a generation.
What year is this? 2023?
What's been a generation?
Is like 2025 years? I left there in 1998.
It's been a generation.
99. I think so.
Right.
Yeah. I think it might have happened it was either 98 or 2000. It's been a long time. It's been I think it was 2000. It's been a very long time. Anyway, and then, so we are still giving bail for very serious offenses. So we don't have anything to prove that this wouldn't work.
Right.
So what is the point of this? Anyway, let's continue. The efficacy of these proposed efforts are advanced passionately without any attempt to underpin them or justify them with actual measurable metrics or facts. We just say it. The facts will show that in my time in practice, which isn't very long, from 1990 to today, sentences have steadily increased in severity. 1990 to today is very long. But there has been no corresponding decrease in the incidence of violent crimes, none whatsoever. So we keep increasing sentences and crime keeps increasing along with it. Why make a statement like this?
It's just facts, maybe.
Okay. But this, well. The minister said that The movement in the reduction of age of hitmen is also troubling to the extent that we must address our intervention programs at an earlier age. Monroe added, quote, "We speak about capital punishment. 40% of murders committed last year appears to be evidence of capital punishment being executed on the streets without trial, without due process, and without appeals. Yet young men continue to join the street gang, seemingly undeterred by an almost promise of death on the street." There's so many flaws in this. What? But that's so different from you being killed by another little street thug is very different from the state formally executing you. I mean, no, I'm not a thug gangbanger, but no, are we going to say this is the same thing? You will likely get killed if you kill somebody on the street like a dog. Yeah, that's the same thing as you being walked into a chamber where you may be hanged or put to death by some other form of execution. That seems like the same thing to somebody? Okay. Anyway, Monroe was addressing the Government and Public Policy Institute's Meet the Policy lecture series on national security policy. Monroe is a King's Counsel and practiced as a prominent attorney prior to becoming National Security Minister in 2021. He noted that for many, the fear of crime is more compelling than the actual numbers. He said, quote, "For many, the killings that are occurring with an alarming frequency and bold styles are the most disturbing crimes." He said the Ministry of National Security is committed to taking steps and implementing and supporting policies to reduce crime and protect the paying people. Okay. Let's get your reaction to all of this, folks. Give us a call, 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796.
What are the intervention programs that he talked about?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Troubling to the extent that we must address our intervention programs at an earlier age. What are they?
There are programs indeed.
But I don't know what they are.
Yeah, I'm
just being honest.
Promoted better.
I don't.
But, yeah. Let's see what this caller says. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning. Thank you for taking my call.
Hi.
You know, we must appreciate the information that's provided by the minister. There's a lot of content in that. Of course, there's some stuff in that you object to because, can't compare the way things may happen to somebody as the same as it happens to somebody else. I think we should leave that right there. But he's talking about the fact that we do have a parallel escalation in crime that's attached to something else. And he's identifying that for us. So I think we need to really look closely how to address what is feeding and fueling this crime wave. And I think, I don't want to call names, but I could leave that right there. Thank you so much for taking my call. Have a wonderful day.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it. All right, some text messages here. The person says the majority of police cars are not armored anywhere. Well, I don't know if that's accurate, but they're not armored here. This one says the police officer was shot while he was out of the car, so an armored car wouldn't make a difference.
Out? I heard the bullet came through the windshield.
Yeah, they said he was the driver and driving. Were you there?
I don't know where you got that information from.
This person says the Bahamas is a living version of Grand Theft Auto, shooting police cars and fleeing. When are they going to stop giving bail to people they know are a serious danger to society? It isn't the penalties that are the problem. It is the fact that they don't get a speedy trial to remove these pestilence from our humanity. Oh my goodness. So you threaten the bad guys with lengthier jail time. The bad guys laugh because they know these clowns can't even bring them to trial. Jokey leaders. Indeed, you are very correct.
I mean, it's true because the amount of people that they pick up for things that are happening on the street that are on bail and being monitored, and
half the country's on bail.
If they were in jail and not on bail, out on bail, seems like nothing would be happening.
Half the country seems to be out on bail. So I don't know what the good minister is talking about, but okay. Lengthier sentences bridge out on bail. So yeah, of course it's not going to mean anything to anybody. Oh, boy. This one says here, very unfortunate that a police officer was injured. Been saying for a while that these chases are being discouraged world over because they are dangerous to everyone. It could have been a child shot in the face. A better approach would have been for the police to call in to the command center with a description of the car. The CCTV system... The CCTV system then follows the car. Simultaneously, the ankle monitoring system checks the location of all monitored individuals.
That's a joke, right?
Yeah, but the last part was a joke. But I hear you. One day, Texter, one day we'll be there.
Oh, it was a wish list?
Maybe.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. But the first part, yes, totally agree with you. Police chases are very dangerous. Very, very dangerous. We've had people hurt. Seriously, innocent bystanders and drivers hurt. Almost killed. And yet we continue. On these already terrible roads, very narrow, pothole-filled roads. Police chases, very serious, but yeah. But CCTV, that is funny. On this one, we need smarter policing. I'm certain if we had a smart police plan, that amounts to more than words on paper and action items like saturation patrols. Between the Chinese and the Americans, we could fund such a program with maintenance for a minimum of 10 years. When you waste money hiring Rodney, oh boy, as a solution, who will be motivated to fund that? Yes. Chester, stop being ridiculous. Thousands of police cars in America are not armored. I wish people would stop making foolish comments where government has to spend money. The people who are doing monitoring or the courts and prosecutors have to put boundaries where these people can go. This monitoring system wastes money. Yeah.
So it's a foolish comment to
in the movies
suppose that a car would be armored.
It's very expensive though, and it makes a car very heavy, and then they won't be able to chase down the people. And yeah. But I don't know.
That's not as highly inaccurate.
It is expensive and heavy. But let's move on. The other things I mentioned, and we've said this many times, right? The ankle bracelet monitoring system.
That made me sound like an idiot, okay? Because these cars exist, first of all, and they increase the size of the engine.
Government.
So
that'll be very difficult on that little Versa. They won't be able to handle it.
Look, there are levels to bulletproofing, and you don't have to go all the way.
Okay.
But some level of protection would make sense to me for certain types of police officers and police
it's only seen as
vehicles.
important for dignitaries.
I'm just saying.
Dignitaries, world leaders. Everybody else, y'all don't. No, you don't need it. Anyway, ankle bracelets.
They put Kevlar in doors.
We will be down to 2 police cars if we do this.
It doesn't have to be every police car. But the guys who are out in the middle of the night looking for the fellas who are out in the middle of the night,
it won't be for them.
Could use some protection. That's all I'm saying.
They could. Ankle bracelets. We've been saying it. This is the way it was supposed to be when it was initially introduced. This is supposed to be for people who are non-violent offenders. And in other places, you see how this works. You have to be restricted in your movement. You cannot be allowed to go anywhere you want just because you have an ankle bracelet monitor. We are very silly here. This makes no sense. When are we going to get it? If you don't want to hold them in prison, restrict their movement. And if they move out of the area where they are supposed to stay, then they need to go back to prison. Okay. This will continue. Every week, somebody's arrested on an ankle bracelet monitoring with an ankle bracelet monitoring device, or who's wanted for whatever, or out on bail for multiple murders. This makes us seem ridiculous. What more needs to happen?
Your throat ain't dry yet?
Oh, man. This is insane. This is insane. Police waging war on criminals, but people walking around on bail for multiple murders. I swear this stuff you can't make up. From the day this government decided to protect the identity of criminals going to court, We should have known. That's not what happened. That's not what happened. It's not what happened. Let's be fair. They just aren't telling the media generally, some exceptions, because some people are innocent, and then when they're paraded in front of the court and then the case is dismissed, you don't ever see a picture of them being declared to be innocent or that it was a mistake. And so they wanted to stop doing that, right? That walk of shame through Bank Lane was very damaging to a lot of people. But if a reporter and a camera crew knows who the people are, you could still go out there and take a picture. As long as you know who it is. The police just aren't telling you who it is anymore. So don't get it mixed up. That's not what they did. But everything else that you said is correct. The minister could have dusted off that speech from 20 years ago and called it his. Nothing new. However, I'm laughing out loud that having earned money from God. Okay. Wow. One of the latest murder victims was on bail for 5 murders. We ain't serious. Was it 5 or 6?
Somewhere around there.
It was one of them. Yeah, it could have been 6. I think it was 6. What happened to the violence interrupter that's getting paid $60,000? Is it $60,000? Is that how much it was?
Is that the intervention program?
Can you imagine if culprits are willing to shoot at police? What do you think will happen if the culprits were to hit your car on the street and decide to stop? If they wrong, they will have you in fear by the amount of them in one car, and you do not know what they will do. I think people are having that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It isn't. I think we read this. They're laughing at the dry throat comment. It was a very busy thoroughfare. I was in the streets late last night where something unfolded with officers and assailants on my way to work or my way home from work. It was a very busy thoroughfare. I was afraid for my life and the lives of others. The misery index is increasing. I just want to breathe. Wow. Another one says here, police are doing their jobs. Until the government decides to change the law concerning bail, judges will continue to give it. Yeah, we're wondering what's keeping them from doing this. This is they need to act. If it is, make it a law that if you are already out on bail for a serious offense and you are accused of another one, that's it.
Yep.
Is it hard? Let's see what these callers are saying. Good morning. You're on the air.
Morning, Dwight. How you doing?
Doing well.
And good morning to you, yeah.
Good morning.
Dwight.
Hi.
You was my boy. You might even be my cousin from Ramkey, right? But if I didn't know no better, I would have think you was a part of this conspiracy too, you know.
Which one?
All of them.
How?
Because we, the callers, and yourselves at times, and your guests, we keep saying what these problems are stemming from. But every day when this happens, we regurgitating this stuff over and over. Why?
Oh,
we know why.
You don't want to talk about it anymore? That's what you're saying?
I mean, but we know what the problems are. We ain't got to ask why. Because when a fella gets out on bail, he can't go. He don't put on a necktie and a suit and go to work. He got to come out and he got to make that money to pay that lawyer. So obviously they could re-engage or engage in the same thing they was doing before. And Wayne Monroe is an excellent case. He did a case for me. He disposed of several cases in record-breaking time when he was in opposition.
Oh my God.
And all of a sudden now he crying like he didn't know what's happening. But then what do I expect when he has made a lot of his finances?
Well, that's not too bad because lawyers, you know how they go. You know how lawyers go. But how am I a part of the conspiracy though? Because
I say if I didn't know no better.
Oh, but you do know better.
You keep asking the same question.
Oh, I see.
Why? But
well, I keep
why.
asking the same questions because it keeps happening. I don't understand. Something is wrong.
Exactly.
I'm clearly missing something.
We know what's happening. The police needs proper training. We know that. How in the world you go in after a car because it ain't like this ain't happened before. You in your patrol car with 1 or 2 officers. You see a car take off in the front of you. Now it's only 21 by 2, right? Why don't you stay in the back of that vehicle, give chase, and radio? They got radios in their cars, right? Radio until backup occurs. Huh? What you going to go? You know how these criminals go. Some of them ain't getting dead and tell them I ain't getting back to jail. And you can get out in one car or pull up alongside in one car. They need training. Stay behind the car until backup occur. Arrive.
Okay.
Right. We know the answer to these things. But then what can we do when everybody, the top fellas, all that make money from leading law firms? Thanks for taking my call.
Wow. Okay. All right.
Well, they said they turned on the lights and were shot at. So it was sounds like it was almost immediate.
Reflex. Yeah. Friends messaging. I went last night. It was excellent. This is the University of the Bahamas. All of your questions were answered.
All right. There you go.
Okay, so go watch the tape.
There's tape?
I don't know. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Chester. Good morning, Dwight. Good morning, Dwight of Bahamas.
Hi, good morning.
No justice, N-O, no peace. K-N-O-W, no justice, no peace. What happens is that the major problem we have in the Bahamas comes from our judicial system and the lack of willpower to fund them. If you are, say, 100 cases this year, 100 murders, and you prosecute 6, let's say you even prosecute 20, even 50, let's go 50, prosecute 50, one a week, and 50 is left on the table, and next year you have 100, and you prosecute 50, you now have 100 left on the table, and you do it again, and you do it again, you're cumulative. So the problem we have is that we have a broken justice system, beginning with the finances, the resources, to actually cause these trials to happen. We are currency averse, meaning we don't fund them, and the currency of the future and today is called data. We talk about technology, and Dwight, you're absolutely correct. Being granted bail is the guarantee of appearance. Somehow it's become one of punishment. But when given the opportunity of being held in prison and being sent at home, we should restrict their movement even to their premises.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is that when we talk about the use of technology, we talk about all these spot shotters, drones, and cameras and everything else. Of course, we're about 10 to 20 years behind the curve. But, Dwight, do you ever use your GPS on your vehicle, on your phone, when you say turn left, right here, turn right here?
Sure.
They know where you are in real time, right?
Mm.
Why is it that we can't use these now with the same thing with the monitoring devices, rather than looking for pings? You would tell where they are in real time when they leave, when they alert. There's technology available as simple as an eSIM chip as part of the monitoring device that lets them know in real time where you are. And so the problem with technology is that preparedness and utilization are two different things. The Bahamas is still one of the most digitally prepared countries in the world. The problem is that we seem to lack the knowledge or the willpower and the leadership to actually execute these things in striving. You can't get data on anything. Call tourism, they tell you, this is what I think, what I believe, what I feel, what I was told. Call Ministry of Social Services, ask for any data concerning the economy or the impact it's having.
No.
They tell you be doing this. And this is the problem, is that we are still a drop in the bucket. I mean, almost minuscule, like a sand on the beach in utilization of technology, and the beach being what is available to us. And we seem to not be able to handle the simple grain of sand, but we're spending millions and millions of dollars, and we're not having any effective resolution from these technologies we're buying. And, in the ending, I like to say, we like to say one thing. If it costs a lot of money, it must be mean it's state-of-the-art. It must be mean something else, when it simply means that you bought a junk for an expensive price.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Some messages as we go to the news. This person says, rather than wasting money re-airing some other programs that they've used to deal with young people, I'm editing. How about the police staging a live, innovative traveling deterrence program in the high schools? Just try something new. Okay. Okay. Yeah. And this one is, the problem isn't bail. Everyone is innocent until proven guilty. The problem is that the amount of time it takes for matters to go to trial because of defense lawyers knowing the system. When last a case is gone before the coroner's court? Well, there's one right now. But anyway, going to the news. We'll pick this up on the other side. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969 or Facebook.com/Morning Blend 969. Text us on the Guardian Radio text line powered by BTC 422-4796. Standard text rates apply. And now at 8:23, time for another check of your weather for today, brought to you by Bahamas First Insurance. We've got high pressure over the area that will continue to shift eastwards as a cold front across Florida will advance southeastwards, entering the northwest Bahamas by this evening. There is a marginal threat for waterspout activity today, mainly across the northwest Bahamas as that front approaches. Your forecast for today for the northwestern islands, partly sunny, very warm and humid, with a few scattered showers and the chance of isolated thunderstorms. Partly cloudy tonight with isolated showers possible. Small craft caution will come into effect this evening behind the front, and expect gusty winds and higher seas in showers and thunderstorms. For the central and southeast Bahamas today, partly to mostly sunny and very warm with the chance of a few isolated showers, mainly fair and warm tonight with a stray shower or two possible. Temperatures getting up to around 86 Fahrenheit, 30 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to 73 Fahrenheit, 23 Celsius. In your extended outlook, that frontal boundary will sag southwards across the islands and stall eventually, dissipating. Through Friday, high pressure will build behind that front and will generate fresh to strong winds across the area for the remainder of the week. So for tomorrow, Thursday, we're expecting a mix of sun and clouds. It's going to be breezy as well, with the chance of a few stray showers, a few possible showers during the day. Mainly fair and breezy at night with a stray shower or two possible. Friday, partly sunny and windy with a chance of a brief passing shower or two during the day, breezy and mild at night. That's your Morning Blend weather check, brought to you by Bahamas First. Visit firstonlineinsurance.com and select a Bahamas First agent to purchase, pay, or renew your car or home insurance 100% online, or just stop by any Bahamas First agent. Bahamas First, celebrating 40 years as the first Bahamian general insurance company. What's first for you comes first for us. And it is time for another check of your traffic this morning, brought to you by RBC. Discover mortgage ideas shaped around you. In your real-time traffic, we're seeing heavy traffic on West Bay Street near Saunders Beach. That's eastbound traffic as you approach the roundabout with New Providence Highway. And northbound on New Providence Highway, also busy toward that roundabout. Further east on West Bay Street, as you make your way toward Arawak Key, you'll be seeing some building traffic there heading into downtown Nassau. Elsewhere, Milo Butler Highway, heavy traffic from well south of the Fire Trail roundabout straight up to Tawnique Williams Darling Highway. Northbound lanes there. Gladstone Road also busy for you northbound this morning. We've got Blue Hill Road seeing some heavy traffic, especially near Carmichael Road and north of Soldier Road on the way to Independence Drive. Independence Drive back to both directions, eastbound and westbound, between the roundabouts of Blue Hill Road and East Street. Back to Blue Hill Road, you're going to see heavy traffic northbound on the way to Cordo Avenue, even beyond, heading up to Wolf Road. East Street is busy for you as well, especially between the roundabout at East West Highway and Soldier Road. Cowpen Road, heavy traffic eastbound to Blue Hill Road and straight through to Zion Boulevard. And in eastern New Providence, Eastern Road is looking congested for you, especially from San Souci straight up to Johnson Road. And slow-going traffic on Shirley Street, just west of Village Road up to about Mackey Street. Prince Charles and Bernard Road also busy for you westbound at this hour. That's what we're looking at. That's your real-time traffic and your Morning Blend traffic alert, brought to you by RBC. Visit rbc.com/Caribbean/home story to start your mortgage story today.
Ready to save? You can put $100 into the CFAL Savings Express plan and make sure your money keeps growing. Earn interest on your savings while you're sleeping, eating, or standing in line at the bank. Ready to invest? Start by putting $1,000 into our mutual funds and earn interest there too. Because at CFAL, your interest is our interest. Visit CFAL.com to start now. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations of Bahamians.
Technology serves to make our lives better, so why not your business too? At Custom Computers, we've been maintaining our knowledge and relationships with top tech companies since 1987 and carry only the most trusted brands like Apple, Microsoft, HP, and more. No company has helped more businesses build reliable IT systems than Custom Computers. You name it, we've done it. Call 396-1101 to talk to any of our business experts. Find trust in your tech. Count on Custom Computers.
Get your Carifta tickets. The 58th Carifta Games is coming. April 7th to April 10th. Tickets are on sale now. Online at Carifta50.com or at the Thomas A. Robinson National Stadium, Western Grand Entrance. For more details, email tickets@Carifta50.com or call 605-4051.
Jumpstart this spring with BWF Spring Clearance Sale. Save big with red-hot savings up to 40% off. Friday, March 31st through Saturday, April 1st, save big on appliances, barbecue grills and accessories, kitchen and outdoor cooking supplies, cast irons, houseware supplies, comforter sets, towel gift sets, selected welding supplies, diesel welders and pressure washers, toys, and a whole lot more. BWF, we are more than just our name. Number 13 Wilton Street, telephone 394-0004 or 6. Check us out on Facebook.
Is your 2023 goal to move into your own home? Well, future homeowner, enjoy another payday. Build or buy a home with financing from CIBC First Caribbean, and you'll receive cash back every month for 1 year. A home is one of your greatest investments, so secure one soon. Visit CIBCFCIB.com/homeowners payday for more info. Offer valid from January 9 through to March 31, 2023. Terms and conditions apply.
Take some advice from your Aunt Angie. If you want to go scuba diving on your vacation, don't bedazzle your wetsuit. And you think you look great, but what you don't realize is that you look like a shiny, scaly fish. And it won't take long for a shark to notice you. Next thing you know, you're busting out every karate move you got. But if you're smart, you'll have CG medical insurance and get airlifted out to the closest hospital.
Get coverage for emergency evacuations. CG Atlantic Medical and Life Insurance. Good like that. All benefits are subject to policy provisions, including eligibility at the time of service.
People, what you thinking? We want something different. People, what you wanting? We want local government. I can tell them no more slunking. We want to see it function. I can tell them no more joking. I forgot. Going down Blue Hill Road, going down Village Road, going down Nassau Road. We want local government. We want local government. It's the road. We want local government. Share the love. We want local government. We got call for local government.
Sign the petition and find out more information at risebahamas.net.
Florida Auto Parts can deliver all the auto parts your car will ever need, direct from the USA and from around the world. Florida Auto Parts provides fast delivery on auto parts, and we ship throughout the Bahamas, genuine or aftermarket, new or used, and all for the best price. Call Florida Auto Parts Trusted Parts Rep on WhatsApp at 1-786-772-8777 to save on your next auto parts purchase. Florida Auto Parts, the right parts at the right price.
It's Nassau Tiles March Madness Sale. And to celebrate 93 years in business and the Bahamas' 50 years of independence, they're giving you 20% off store-wide. Catch the sale on all tiles, linset, grout, mosaics, and more. Save 25% off wood-look tiles and ceramic tiles, and up to 60% on selected items. Their experts will guide you in selecting the right tiles. Visit their showroom on Dowswell Street or call 322-2100 to make your dream space a reality. Don't miss this March Madness anniversary sale from March 27th to the 31st. All sales are final.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Get ready to mash this party up. It's Rick and Script full non-stop. Hey! Rick and Script. Rick and Script. D-Max style. Rick and Script. Oh, yeah. Rick and Script. I see you coming from a mile away, girl. Rick and Script. I see you coming. Girl, I say, hey, she says she's a real good girl. She only goes to church then home. I say I'm a real good guy, like record script. I stay in my zone. She says she don't party hard. I tell her I'm a partier. She tell me she ain't no cutter, but she'll go out with me. She say that she.
We're back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan with Chester Robards on this Wednesday morning. The week is dragging on. I feel like it should be Friday already.
That really is a groovy song.
You like it?
Yeah.
Yeah, D-Mac.
Yeah, that's my
Shout
boy.
out to D-Mac. Yeah.
I haven't seen him in a while, but that's my boy.
I saw him a few weeks ago. But yeah. All right, so we're talking about the headlines in the papers. We've had quite a few incidents over the past few days, but I mean, it's been a rough year so far in terms of gun violence in the country. And so we're reacting to an officer being shot. 3 men believed to be involved in this. 2 of the 3 suspects have been out on bail for very serious offenses, including murder, for at least one of them, and that is a usual story. Almost every week, somebody is arrested who is out on bail for murder, and we're like, when is this madness going to stop? The National Security Minister is saying that because it seems like everybody's out on bail for murder, and he says that people are calling for capital punishment and calling for increased sentences and calling for remand without bail for serious offenses. But there's no evidence to support that this will do anything, especially not here. This is me saying this because we don't do any of those things. And so, yeah, of course, there's no evidence. But let's try it and then see what happens. Right? Let's try it.
Can I also go back to that person who was trying to berate me for saying that we should have cars that are armed or protected from bullets?
You're really triggered by this, pardon the pun.
Well, I mean, because if there are other people thinking the same way as me, I don't want one person to say, "Oh, don't be an idiot. Police cars aren't really armored." And
you've been doing your research.
I did some research just to make sure that I ain't talking fool, because I know living in Miami for the length that I did, their police cars are protected because the windows don't go down, and they don't go down because of the bulletproofing. And the doors have bullet protection, some Kevlar and ceramic material in them. So there are patrol cars on the streets, Philadelphia, New York, that are protected. Yep. All I'm saying is our boys should be protected too, especially the ones who are on the street looking for these guys who like to shoot at police or who are on bail for murder and who clearly don't care about life.
Yeah, and since it's becoming a more frequent occurrence to have shootouts during car chases, definitely something we need to be looking at. All right, let's take this call and we'll get back to your text messages. You can text us 422-4796. You can call in as well, 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning, Dwight. Good morning, Chester.
Hi.
I hope you're doing well. Dwight, Chester, listen, let's admit that we're in trouble here.
Yeah,
long time.
In trouble, man. We got some jokey leaders in the jokey time. Obviously, Mr. Monroe, I really don't listen to him. Every time he comes, I turn my device down because he just don't make any sense to me at all. The Commissioner of Police, in his inaugural address, said that he will call for stiffer penalty for the possession of guns. You remember that?
Yep.
One of the high-ranking officers, Mr. Charles Hanna, he wrote a whole book on crime strategies in the Bahamas. He called for stiffer penalties, right? He even called for capital punishment for individuals convicted of murder. You remember that, Mr. Dwight?
I do.
And so, it's like, where are the stiffer penalties? The average person who is caught with a gun gets 2 years. A guy who is caught with a loaf of bread gets 2 years as well. You're calling that stiffer penalty? Brittany Griner got 10 years for a little bit of dope, which could not kill anybody like that. And these guys are getting 2 years for, really serious. in one of the states, I think it was Arizona. You know what they has as their mode of capital punishment? A firing squad.
What?
A firing
Are you
squad,
sure?
Dwight.
No.
This
No,
is in
you
the
mean
great
in the
United
past.
States of
It
America.
can't be. No, I can't believe that.
Listen, Google it.
I don't think so.
They have the firing squad because they every time they do these lethal injections, they are botched. So they're putting individuals.
Maybe someone proposed it. I don't think
No,
they would do that.
it is law, Dwight. It is law in that state.
Which state?
It is law. Mr. Prime Minister needs to shuffle his cabinet. And I know somebody texted you one time and said, you shuffling because only jokers in the decks in the house. But we need to
I don't remember anyone saying that, but okay, that's
we need
fine.
to do something because, the only thing I can do is pray for me and my family and ask God to protect us because I can't rely on this government and this police. Dwight, send one of your photographers in the back of the police station and where they have the police garage. They must have got 1 million cars out there. 1 million cars in the back. All our money that we spend on these cars, what they throwing money at, the cars sitting up right in the garage. Hundreds and hundreds of cars, brand new cars, right in the back of the garage. So all we doing just wasting money, man. They wouldn't take the money, give it to College Reed and other NGOs who are out there trying to help, but they could take $150,000 and spend on one car. Dwight,
Okay.
I get.
All right, thanks a lot.
Just pray.
I appreciate it.
You gotta pray.
All right, so I had to Google that. It can't be real. Anyway,
your families.
so Idaho, they are trying to, some crazy governor probably, is trying to introduce firing squad executions. Oh, Lord. So there's a bill that would allow Idaho to execute condemned inmates by firing squad, headed to the governor's desk.
That's terrible.
This is going to get, it already passed the legislature on Monday with a veto-proof majority. Firing squads will be used only if the state cannot obtain the drugs needed for lethal injections. Only if. At least one death row inmate has already had his scheduled execution postponed multiple times because of drug scarcity.
They just used a firing squad the other day. And when I say the other day, it's got to be less than 5 years ago.
Which one? This state?
No, I don't know. Somewhere.
Only Mississippi, Utah, Oklahoma, and South Carolina. Well, these states, come on. Currently have laws allowing firing squads if other execution methods are unavailable. Dear Lord.
Firing squad isn't good for the officers who have to do it. And that's why one of the reasons they don't do it. Even though they don't know who has the actual bullet, real bullet, it's still mentally challenging for the people who
They
do
say
it.
they used to be tough on the hangman as well.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And whoever administers the injection.
Well, a machine does it now.
That's why it doesn't work. Anyway, all right, so this is interesting. We'll get to you in a second, caller. This is Wayne Monroe, more from Wayne Monroe from yesterday. All right. He said the government is also working closely with the judiciary to expedite the trial process. We've heard 1,000 times over the last 20 years, particularly for firearms-related matters, through initiatives such as the Task Force on Delay Reduction and more aggressive evidence provision. The minister said he is a great advocate for the denial of bail. Wayne Monroe said that. He's a great advocate for the denial of bail. Wayne Monroe. Monroe said, quote, additionally, and some people say it's ironically, sitting where I now sit, indeed, I am a great advocate for the denial of bail. At least he admits it, that people find it ironic. That's great. I love it. Awareness, self-awareness is a wonderful thing. He said, quote, and I can do so with great vim and vigor and gusto because I bring to the table all that I would have been doing when I was advocating for bail. And so I have the dubious distinction of being the first person in the Turks and Caicos Islands, when I did a case down there, to get somebody admitted to bail for murder in the Turks and Caicos. And it's a very simple proposition that I advance. Whether you are innocent or guilty, it is clear from the statistics, when we have 40% of the murders last year being persons on bail for murder, that if you are charged with murder and admitted to bail, there's a high probability that you can be killed. And as a matter of public safety, bail should be refused because you are likely to be killed in an urban setting. We're waiting patiently to see what the courts will make of that argument. I'm surprised that the accused don't want it. I mean, why would you want bail? You're going to get killed.
They take their chances.
So this is how they're going to go about, as
Freedom.
opposed to if you're already out on bail for murder and you're accused of something else, we just will, okay. Well, whatever it takes, I guess. Monroe added that the government's approach to national security extends beyond prevention and enforcement to include the rehabilitation of offenders. He noted that 98.5% of offenders at the prison will be released. He said 0.5% of them you will see again, even if they are sentenced to 40 years for murder. They will come back out, and so it is important for a matter of public safety that we deal with rehabilitation. By focusing on rehabilitation and reintegration, we're fostering a more compassionate and inclusive society, which is essential to building a safer, more prosperous Bahamas for all. We're working on circulating a draft parole and re-entry bill for public consultation. Mm-hmm. Okay. I was watching a news program a few days ago, and I don't remember how many people this man's accused of killing, but he was sentenced to something crazy like 200-something years. What's up with us, though, and the 20, 30 years? What are we trying to do? I mean, I know that the Americans are extreme.
Are they?
But, I mean, 200 and something years you're sentenced to, okay. But we are the other end of the spectrum. This cannot be right for what you are accused of doing. What are we trying to accomplish? He's saying it now, too, Wayne Monroe, that these people will get out for murder, and sometimes more than one murder. They're going to be back on the streets.
Right.
Sometimes at a still young age of 60-something or whatever.
Well, some of them young, yeah.
Mm-hmm. What are we trying to do? Is it to be more humane? Is it to appear to be civilized? What is it that we are trying to accomplish here? And often when people go to the appeals court to challenge the severity of a ruling, they do get the time knocked down. Often, not all the time, but it's happened before.
Mm.
You were sentenced to 25 years and then, it's harsh. Make it 19.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are we doing?
I don't know.
Caller, do you have the answers? Good morning. You're on the air.
All of the answers. Good morning. How are you?
Hi.
I'm good. Listen, in reference to what Mr. Monroe is saying, right, or said, he's the ideal person to speak on that because when he spoke on the part about this bail, he was instrumental in presenting a lot of persons who are out on bail for, a lot of these heinous crimes.
Mm.
He knows well what he speaks about. Therein lies the problem. You have these persons out here, on bail, and then you're making the point, which is a good point. He has to continue. We have to really mark that portion where he says that it's in their best interest to stay locked up, not come out on bail because they're going to get killed. These young fellas, I think a person, when you pull the trigger, or you murder somebody, you don't care about life. Mm-hmm. You don't even care about your life. So their thing is, they prefer that they would rather die free than stay in jail forever locked up.
I guess. Yeah.
Right, and I think the justice system, along with him, he knows he's in that position that he's in. I don't understand. They're saying we're working on drafting this or doing this with the court system, with the gun system. We know there are a lot of these guns in this country. Why? I want to see the gun courts activated. I want to see them getting to more harsher sentences. You know, you go high, aim high, go for the 100 years. Go for the 80 years. If it gets long down, you may wind up at 60. But the thing is, we have to be serious. The Attorney General, I would like to hear when he makes it, if he's going to make a presentation, what he's going to be saying in relation to this. The Chief Justice as well, because the court system, I think the police force, they may have some flaws, but I think they do an excellent job with what they have to work with. A lot of times you see these murders, so you have these murders, but they get the guys, right? They get them. They put them before the court, and for some reason, when it hit the court, everything goes away. It's crazy because you're coming on bail, so one murder is enough, but 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 murders on bail, then right there, you not only are you at risk of being killed, but we have collateral damage, children, other persons who are being murdered because of you. You understand? So they have to deal with the problem, and like you all said, you're hearing the same thing what we are doing, what we are planning, but we want to see action. We want to see harsher sentences. You understand what I'm saying? And I think that one of the problems is that it seems to be a fraternity, the legal fraternity, because of the bottom line, the majority of persons who are really truly benefiting from these cases and these court cases are lawyers. The attorneys that represent these persons are the ones who are getting the big dollars, who are charging these fees. They are getting rich off of persons and off of our misery, hardship, and our misery with the blood, with the losses that we are suffering in this country, and the government and whoever the powers that be. They must get serious. And as far as rehabilitation, he's saying, yes, they're going to come out of the streets where it's 40 or whatever. Yes, they can come out whatever. You do what you have to do with the rehabilitation. You do deal with that end. Deal with that. But in the meantime, get those sentences, get those harsher sentences put them up to 100 years and work your way down, and deal with, as far as with the court systems, as far as with the court fraternity or the courts, however they deal with making more courts available, getting these cases heard, hiring more magistrates, judges, or whatever they have to do. But something needs to be done because there's too much suffering and too much of this hardship and misery that's going on for too many years.
Yeah.
And you all have a safe day, okay?
You too. Thank you very much. I'm for that. I think, aim high. I'm offended when I hear what these sentences are. I don't understand it.
And they're disproportionate for certain crimes.
Yeah.
Like 10 years for stealing something.
And always time served.
And then like 15 years for murder. What?
And they must run concurrently. It's annoying.
Yeah, that is strange.
But in the States, they have to be consecutive. And again, it adds up to 259 years or something. And that is insane over there. But
it's not insane. I mean, because
it's unrealistic, of course. But it makes more sense.
But that's the point.
Than what we are doing.
You kill 2 people, and I gotta give you 100 years for one of them. So I gotta give you 100 years for another one.
Yeah.
But just make sure you ain't coming out.
Yeah.
In case you live to 150.
Yeah. So that's the message that we're sending out to people. I think it's a dangerous one, right?
You could fill that time.
Yeah, it's flippant. Yeah,
you could do that time.
Work out. You got nothing to do. You do. Just and then you be back out.
Yeah, Wayne Monroe does say in the article, the state of our prison itself created criminals. Fellas in there just chilling.
Been saying that for 40 years as well, if not longer, right? But here we are, same place. Good morning, caller on the air. Hi, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. How you doing?
Doing well.
Good. I'm just calling to make a comment about the attorney judge, about Wayne Monroe and his suggestions for the court, etc. When Wayne Monroe get kicked out and he go back into practice, he's gonna be the first one out there defending these criminals. Okay? He's going to be the first one. So, I don't know what he's talking about. His suggestions and recommendations is just, going through the door. It's going through the door because they're not serious about crime here in this country. They're not serious at all. And like the lady said before, they're not even serious about rehabilitation in that prison. Who can get rehabilitated in that slum?
Mm-hmm.
Okay? It's filthy, it's dirty, it's nasty. People have no sense to think about how they could change their lives and be a better person when they are released. They need to start with rehabilitation. I agree with that lady, because a number of them who come out of that prison or who are released, they end up doing the same crime again, and they end up back. It's like the recidivism rate is so high, they need to do better. They need to do better. All these governments who go in there, they need to do better, because there's no change. It's the same old rhetoric, the same old practice over and over again. And something needs to be done.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Indeed. Wow. Let's read some messages as we get ready to take a break here. But wait, is this for us? I don't understand what this means. Okay, it can't be. That's weird. Yeah, everyone's saying they introduced. But again, so it isn't the firing squad thing. That isn't their principal way of execution. It is a backup form. Yeah. Because I don't think in 2023...
What people saying, we must do it?
No, well, I don't know why they're bringing it up. That folks, these states, these very interesting states, are introducing the firing squad or have the firing squad. It's not their principal way of execution, but they're using it as a backup. So don't get too excited. I know we all love the guns around here, but everybody calm down a little bit. This one says here, they always talking without thinking. Stop looking at what other countries are doing. Let's do what fits our country. Okay. Another one here. What about the gun court that we used to have? Why hasn't that been restarted? That's not a nice text there about the minister. This person says, your guns don't kill people. People kill people. Bail is a death sentence and a license to kill again. But guns aren't the only weapons used in murders. Thank you. And this one says here, if the government wanted to fix anything with immigration, even the petty crimes, they can. This is by design. I don't know, but it makes you wonder. It makes you wonder. Like the caller said, Wayne Monroe will be back at defending these criminals once he's voted out. Eek, 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 eek. Yeah. Let's take a break. We'll pick this up on the other side of the break. This is Morning Blend, brought to you in part by Scotiabank. Effective Scotiabank customers will be asked to complete a number of transactions using Scotia Online, the Scotia mobile app, or the ATM. To assist with this transition, we're opening branches every Saturday for the month of April to receive customers in need of additional guidance. To see which branches will be open each Saturday, visit bs.scotiabank.com. We look forward to helping you access this simpler and more convenient way to bank with Scotia.
The first time he shot her, he shot her in her side. The second time he shot her, she bowed down and died. Till you're gone, one more round. Till you're gone. Tell him, Stevie, come on. They sent for the doctor. What you got on? He came dressed in black. He did everything a doctor could do. But he couldn't bring poor Delia back. Till you're gone. One more round. Till you're gone. Monday, Tony was arrested. Tuesday, he was tried. The jury then brought him guilty.
When faced with an illness like cancer, we band together. And we at Cleveland Clinic in Florida have your back. From advanced cancer treatments to extra safety measures at all of our locations, we're with you on this journey. For every infusion and follow-up, for every step of the way, for every care in the world. Cleveland Clinic in Florida. Get the care you need when and where you need it. To learn more or connect with a local representative, visit clevelandclinic.org/Caribbean.
Technology serves to make our lives better, so why not your business too? At Custom Computers, we've been maintaining our knowledge and relationships with top tech companies since 1987 and carry only the most trusted brands like Apple, Microsoft, HP, and more. No company has helped more businesses build reliable IT systems than Custom Computers. You name it, we've done it. Call 396-1101 to talk to any of our find trust in your tech. Count on Custom Computers.
Get cash back from the Water and Sewage Corporation. Receive $10 off your bill when you complete our online survey. We want to hear from you. Help us serve you better. Visit www.wsc.com.bs to complete our survey and receive $10 off your next bill.
Cashback offer applies to the first 100 customers.
It's fast, easy, and rewarding.
The Water and Sewage Corporation. Committed to growth, committed to quality.
At Wendy's, we are different. We don't just use beef. It's fresh, never frozen. Our burgers are square because we never cut corners. Served hot off the grill with fresh lettuce, tomatoes, onions, and American cheese. We believe in fast food done right. Always serving fresh, never frozen beef. Order a hot, juicy Dave single, double, or triple. Made with fresh, never frozen beef. Now only at Wendy's. Different inside and out.
Sand Dollar is a safe and easy alternative to cash. It is the digital version of the Bahamian note. Like banknotes and coins, the Sand Dollar is legal tender, issued and regulated by the Central Bank of the Bahamas. Unlike cryptocurrencies, you can't invest in sand dollars, just like you can't invest in cash. One sand dollar will always be worth one Bahamian dollar.
Learn more about the digital Bahamian dollar at sanddollar.bs.
People, what you thinking? We want something different. People, what you wanting? We want local government. I can tell them no more slunking. We want to see it function. I can tell them no more joke. I forgot. Going down Blue Hill Road, going down Village Road, going down Nassau Road. We want local government. We want local government. Vista Road, we want local government. Cheddar Road, we want local government. We got call for local government.
Sign the petition and find out more information at risebahamas.net.
Florida Auto Parts can deliver all the auto parts your car will ever need, direct from the USA and from around the world. Florida Auto Parts provides fast delivery on auto parts, and we ship throughout the Bahamas, genuine or aftermarket, new or used, and all for the best price. Call Florida Auto Parts Trusted Parts Rep on WhatsApp at 1-786-772-8777 to save on your next auto parts purchase. Florida Auto Parts, the right parts at the right price.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
My business couldn't survive without my credit card machine from Fidelity. It's fast, convenient, and my clients love it. My sales increased, and I can track my earnings. Get your credit card machine from Fidelity today. Call 356-7764.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning and welcome to Morning Blend Business on this Wednesday, March 29th, 2023. Welcome back to our Morning Blend listeners. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan along with Chester Robards. And we're going to continue the crime story in this hour. It's a big issue affecting business as well. And we are trying to... solutions, I think we have the solutions. We know what's needed, but we just don't seem to be willing to do the things. It's a lot of talk on what... all kinds of other things.
And they just got you talking your throat dry.
Yeah. It's insane. But all these things we've been saying for years about limiting the movement of people out on bail, limiting the people on the ankle bracelet monitoring system, not granting bail for people who are accused of violent crimes.
Mm-hmm.
Violent crimes, and don't give me that nonsense about innocent. Stop. And especially if you are accused of another violent crime after you've been granted bail, you might be able to agree on the first one.
Mm-hmm.
But you're back in court because you violated bail conditions. No, you shouldn't be able to get bail again. Or you're back in court because you're accused of a new crime on top of the violent crime you were accused of before. Absolutely not. You shouldn't be getting bail. I don't care. No. But we continue to do this and then act surprised. We're like, oh yeah, people out on bail are in danger. We are all in danger in a period. Right? And we can see it every day, a lack of care about the laws in the country.
Mm-hmm.
Just driving on the streets in New Providence, you just see the most unbelievable things, and people just don't care. The other day, this is a new one for me. I thought I saw everything before, but I'm at a roundabout, 2 lanes, and I don't know. This person in a Swift must have thought they were a bird or something, but they came through the 2 lanes. They made a 3rd lane in between the 2 lanes, and then zipped their way across the roundabout. Like, what was that? And all of us, looking at each other, all the other motorists, that didn't just happen.
Interesting.
But this person did not care one bit.
Wow.
And every day, the left turn thing is getting out of control. This needs to stop. I'm going to start calling for this to be repealed. Bahamians are not mature enough and are terrible drivers and should not have the privilege. We don't even know if it is legal, because people say it seems that there must be a posted sign. We know there's one sign on the island. Obviously, this is foolishness.
Mm.
And I tell you now, if anybody hits me who did a left turn on red, I'm suing everyone in this country. I'm suing the police force, the Attorney General's office, the Ministry of National Security, the Transport Ministry.
That's almost everybody.
Prime Minister, the former Prime Minister, the former Minister of National Security. I'm suing everyone because this is insane. And we did not do the education that's required for this. And people are abusing this now.
Mm-hmm.
And same thing, if you get injured by somebody who's out on bail for murder or out on bail for anything, I think you should sue everyone.
People think you could turn right on red, too.
Well, that's a different story.
In areas where...
That's a different story. Those people... We need another place to put them.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a problem. And we've been calling for so many programs, and we do have a lot of them, but we need to get more serious. They need to be mandatory now. And then one more thing on the traffic issue. I've been saying this for years now, but we desperately need this. Nobody's moving but we need to have mandatory driver's education in school. Mandatory. Like, you can't graduate unless you did the required hours, tests, whatever it is. Yeah, you can't. I don't care if you will never drive one day in your life. You need to do this. Mandatory driver's ed.
Interesting.
We need this. Out there is dangerous. And it's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's costing people their money because the cars are getting destroyed and they have to pay to fix this. Insurance rates are going up.
Yeah.
This is bad.
We need more roadblocks.
Chester said that. I don't know. Anyway, we need a lot of things. But what are we doing? And it's talk, and then we're making crazy statements that don't really make sense, and shooting down the ideas because, what is this? We're going back to Wayne Monroe in this statement there about no evidence that the things that people are saying should be implemented to fight serve any purpose or make any waves in terms of the numbers.
Right.
But how can you say that, well, we haven't done these things? Right? This is a quote in case you missed it. There goes out a cry for drastic actions, carry out capital punishment, increase sentences or remand without bail for all charged with serious offenses without exception. The efficacy of these proposed efforts are advanced passionately without any attempt to underpin them or justify them with actual measurable metrics or facts. We just say it. The facts will show that in my time in practice, sentences have steadily increased in severity, but there has been no corresponding decrease in the incidence of violent crimes, none whatsoever. So we keep increasing sentences, and crime keeps increasing along with it. What does that have to do with anything? My goodness. Anyway. Let's talk, folks. Let's get your reaction to all this and your views on it. 323-6232. 325-4316. 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 4796. As callers were saying in the previous hour, right? People are sentenced to the prisons, the ones who actually get to go there because everybody's out on bail, it seems. But what rehabilitation are they really getting in there, right? The conditions are so harsh, so inhumane, and the people on the outside are very unforgiving when they are released into society.
Yeah.
And sadly, a lot have to return or feel that they have to return to a life of crime.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like the government's hiring them.
There's also some corruption inside the prison. People getting drugs and phones and, so that stuff needs to be cleaned up.
Yeah. And again, we've been, as you said earlier, we talk about the same things over and over and over. And we're seeing very little movement in terms of changing our approaches.
Yeah.
A lot of talk about changing. Even some people appointed to positions, supposedly in the name of change, but the changes have yet to come.
Yeah.
Let's hear what you have to say. Good morning, caller. You are on the air.
Yes, good morning, Dwight. Good morning, Jester.
Hi.
Yeah, Dwight. I've been to the prison twice. You don't go there, there's carry there, right? It was a 20-something year stint in between, right? So the callers are correct about it being an asshole, right? The thing is, Dwight, nothing works in there. I was a reader. I was always a reader. So I can remember some of the cells, well, not the intake, but in remand, the lights weren't working. So, and especially in the maximum when I was a young man, no lights. Basically, it was about 4 of us in there in the cell. It was about 10 by 6 because I'm just over 6 feet and I couldn't lay sideways, right? I wouldn't talk about the stench and what goes on in there. So remember, when people go to jail, they come out. So whatever they have, they will spread to the wider population. But I want to show you how different callers sieve in different information and why we should listen to everybody. The answers that we seek, we all have, About 2 weeks ago, you remember you disclosed some data on global homicide demographics, right? You remember that, Dwight? A couple of 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
And then you said something very frightening. It came across to be different. I don't know if it came across to other people, but you said that the Caribbean is responsible for 23% of the global homicides, right? And so then that frightened me because of our insignificant numbers population-wise. So we're responsible for 23% of the global homicide. That shouldn't frighten anybody, Dwight.
It's very scary.
All right. So then we have outside influences telling us that we should discontinue the death penalty. But Dwight, we know that some of the cases warrant the death penalty. You see what I'm saying, Jester?
Mm-hmm.
Some of the cases warrant the death penalty. So why is it that we allowing these people who want us to kill one another? Because that's what I see by not adhering to the death penalty. Now, I'm not talking about if there's evidence that somebody in a domestic dispute or somebody bothered with someone. If somebody has harmed you, and I don't think that's warranting the death penalty. I know in many cases warrant the death penalty. So by us not carrying it out, then we embolden the people to do what they want to do. And this is what they really want. This is all a part of the depopulation plan, even world wars and all. Most of us are underread and don't even realize it.
That's why I find it so strange what Wayne Monroe said. He said that basically we have capital punishment on the street for causing people not to want to kill. But, I mean, that is not the same thing.
But we have to do some real simple analytics, Sometimes analytics is so simple. When you have a cup of water and you put an egg in it and you put more water, the water rises, right? So it's the same thing with crime. So here in Nassau it's very small. So we still have we have an influx and we have a lot of people coming into the country. So even study with rodents shows that the more you crowd a place, right? And then, of course, the world is producing rations as far as inflation. And so then what you have then is more tension and more violence and less socialization. This study in the mice has showed this. So I don't know why we look around. And so the young men, Dwight, I grew up in the inner city, and I'm socially diverse, and I'm telling you, they have a propensity to join the gangs. It's even in it's in government, it's everywhere, but we just don't, we're denying it. But what I'm afraid of is that the law and the legal authorities, they have a foothold on the country because we still have the police. Only very rare, I think, a police officer cars should be tinted. Those Jeeps, tinted black, they could grab anyone in the night and carry them anywhere. We be entrusting these people. If they're going to have those tinted cars there, God can't even see through it. At least we should put some cameras and something to facilitate and buffer and even help them. Even with this incident with them being shot at, that the camera could enhance their investigation. But no, they want to keep us in the dark ages. They're not even... We don't even have the sense to even know what the real Freedom of the Information Act, We're supposed to have access to who all is put before the police their internal courts for insubordination and the nature of crimes the police are doing. If a police officer could rape his own daughter, allegedly, right? Well, what else do you think they're doing, Dwight? These people are not gods. We have to move up into the 21st century. You see, what I'm saying is then, when the police does something nefarious, it goes underneath the table, and only the person on the street knows it. So then we're still not fighting crime from A. They started from B. They forget about A, but they getting away with everything, but then the public. So this is why the young men, they mindless. The food they put in their stomach, they got these big guns. They want to test it. So police. So the police got to brace themselves, because I have a lot of family members on the police force, and thank God there's none of them. Bless up.
Okay. All right. Wow. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. A lot said there. Good morning. Caller on the air.
Yeah, good morning.
Hi. Turn on your radio for us, please.
Yeah, one second. Yeah, okay, when you get bail, right, it's a contract between the person who's charged and the judge. Am I right?
The court, sure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. So when they abuse the contract, then I think they're supposed to be locked up. I see, because what's happening, the fellas, them, you put them on bail, and they supposed to live up to certain things, and they are not. So when you catch them, you see, they start finding them, and they abuse the act, a couple of times, and you're in charge of it, and so forth. Then I got to put you up because you should choose me. Then on top of that, you're making a mockery of the system, of the judiciary system. And so I call to say that the judges them need to tighten up and stop. Just get together, the Attorney General, Mr. Monroe, get together and decided that we are not letting these persons come out on bail until about, particularly if they charged with murder. Hello?
Well, I hear you. I mean, I think
because I know you can recall before a time when you was charged with murder, you never to get no bail.
Yeah, I think the government's going to have to do something. The government's going to have
they got to beef up, man.
The government's. Thanks a lot. The government's going to have to, through law. The judges are doing what's allowed through law, and our parliamentarians, our elected officials need to.
And the lawyers only doing what their clients hire them to do.
Text us 422-4796 or call in 323-6232. 325-4316. 325-42. Get back to the calls in a bit. This person says here, no worries, Dwight, ain't long before that idiot in the Swift ends up stiff in the morgue.
Okay.
Let them keep it up.
Poetry.
Yeah, we'll get there swiftly. If they keep that up, indeed. That was really crazy. I mean, like what is happening here? But that clearly is something they do on a daily basis, it seemed. If you must give bail, make it $1 million. No. Well, we've got lawyers who were on. We did a show on this, and they say it's required. The law says that it must be reasonable within the person's right, depending on how much they earn or make, something that they can manage.
It's not how they manage it.
This person says a guy was killed while out on bail for 6 murders. Who was his lawyer at that time? Must be someone big. Think Bahamas think. Okay, I hear you. And people complaining about prison, well, just stop going there. You grow up hard in life, so others do too. Stop doing crime. I hear you, Texter. Sure, but that doesn't mean the place has to be unfit for humans, right? It doesn't mean that at all. And some crimes, some things that people do were accidents, but you do need to be punished. And all right, some things get out of control, and
sometimes you're hungry, steal some bread.
Doesn't mean that it has to be a hellhole. It doesn't mean that, right? And you're not going to teach anyone lessons in that way by making their life unbearable.
Exactly.
Right?
They're going to come out angry at the system.
Yep. So that has clearly been our MO in the Bahamas for I think more than a century.
Yep.
From the beginning of time, but it hasn't worked. Obviously, this is the worst way to do it, and so you're creating more monsters. That's all. Why Bahamians act so ignorant to the real point? The police never investigate these crimes, just keep locking up familiar faces. Criminals get bailed because of a lack of evidence and witnesses. Okay. I hear you. So they should really just say, we don't want it. I don't want the bail.
Who should say that?
The accused people.
Why would they say that?
But tell the judge, you ain't going to get me killed. I don't want to keep your bail.
You're saying that's what they should say.
That's what they should say. Yeah. But I'm sure in some cases, Texter, but I bet you not at all. Cannot be. Some we have to admit it. Some people are horrible. Some people, I really want to say many, but some people are horrible. They are criminals. They are evil and wicked. They have no problem killing you. They delight in killing you. They love guns. They want to shoot everything and anyone. They love it. Yes, your own son. We have to admit this. And what are we going to do about it? Good morning. You're on the air.
Well, good morning, Dwight.
Hi.
Excellent show. A lot of good topics. Lawyers make money defending people. And so, if you get out on bail and you do more crazy, I might make more money defending you. Job security. Let's move on. I'd like to weigh in on every single subject, but we don't have enough time. So let me say this. Besides, I enjoy listening to the show and all the issues. But the people are happy, Dwight. If they weren't happy, they would be all over Bay Street like that March fellow. Remember the March fellow? I wouldn't call his name. 3,000 people on Bay Street. Nobody on Bay Street, so they must be enjoying it. But I'd like to say, with what's about to come this year, good luck and all the best.
What does that mean?
Well, this year, I'm already looking at $6 gas. I'm already looking at food prices that have doubled. And they say things are going to get a little higher. I don't see salaries going up. And I don't see ownership in any of the tourism products. And I don't see where the Bahamians will be prospering from all of its benefits. Do you? I don't hear any politician or any opposition speaking to what I just said. Well, there is that other fellow, the one that keeps trying to be a third party. I won't call names. No. And so I just have to say, all the best and good luck, Dwight. Have a good one.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Yep. Hey, that's true. Like he said just now, story in the business section, top real estate agent warns to buy now or risk renting forever.
Did you read the story, Chester?
Did I?
Did you?
I just read some of it. Yeah.
Did you see where that statement was made?
Where it was made?
Right here on Morning Blend Business yesterday. See, I told you.
I don't
told you
listen to
folks
Morning
on Monday
Blend.
that this man here barely listens to himself on Wednesdays.
But the point still remains.
Yes, but just making you realize you need to be listening to the show. That was said here.
No, my colleague
this time yesterday
was listening.
Right. Thank goodness for Paige Riccardi.
Oh,
but anyway,
you are salty.
But that's very scary, and we knew that. You could have said that 10 years ago, and it's only getting worse.
Yeah.
You could have said that 20 years ago. It's much worse.
It's getting much worse now, especially after 2020.
Matt Sweeting, who made that statement yesterday, said it, how identical building going up today to some units that were built a few years back, what they're selling the identical thing for today based on just a few years ago, well over that price for the same thing. Yeah. So we're being priced out. We're terrified, more security and bars and alarms and everything. We're seeing the same issues. Actually, the issues are getting worse. And we haven't seen the movement
and
to
that's why
address these.
people, because they can't afford
Why'd you go there?
To live places.
Oh, boy.
Hey, it's all connected like New York telephone.
Nobody gets that.
Nobody gets that. I'm sorry.
I barely got it. Barely got it. What year are you in?
Yep.
This texter says, what about the idea of privatizing the prisons? Because right now there is no rehabilitation of prisoners. What about...
boy.
We need to build a maximum security prison in the Family Islands. Can't mix hardcore criminals with minor offenders. And this one says here, what are you talking about? The whole of Nassau is a hellhole. That's in response to what I said about the prison. It shouldn't be.
What?
Okay. Just saying, the whole of Nassau is a hellhole.
Wow.
So the prison should reflect life in...
We need to get some people out of Nassau.
In the province.
That's all.
Bro, this is a text. You know it's going to be special when it starts off with bro. Bro, I noticed y'all, the media, are in Fred Mitchell voice note about those illegal immigrants. Y'all are very wicked.
What voice note?
Which voice note? And we often play and address Fred Mitchell voice notes and get lots of complaints.
Nobody sent me that voice note.
Bro, why are y'all always playing his voice notes? So we missed one today, and now we're very wicked. Well,
was it today?
I don't know. I mean, I didn't notice that one. So we're very wicked. We intentionally. Okay, well, I guess we are very wicked. Good morning, caller on the air.
My brother, how are you?
Doing well. Good morning.
Brother Chester, how are you?
Well, I'm doing well. Thank you.
Yes. Listening to you this morning on your insight, the minister seems to sound confusing, isn't it? How do you assess him?
I'm confused by it. Some of the things he's saying, I'm a little confused.
What about you, Mr. Chester Robach?
No, I'm not confused.
You're not confused?
Explain why you're not confused.
Oh, wow.
Well, if you understand Wayne Monroe, he's extremely pragmatic, and I think this is why people don't get him, very dispassionate in his delivery of the things that he says. And he said it, like we mostly operate out of just real extreme, overwhelming
passion
for the things that are happening. And he really just comes from a place of law. This is how things are. This is what we could change. This is, how the courts work. If you listen to him, that's typically where he is.
Well, I must give Mr. Strachan a little bit of credit this morning. He has now allowed me, I believe, with his spiritual eyes now, he's beginning to see this social disorder that we have. I am convinced with my passion that this is by design, and this is a conspiracy, and the conspiracy is coming from a movement. One, economics. Mr. Chester Robach, you're a man with a spiritual eye, you can see this is economics. And this social disorder will become just like the illegal immigrant now, out of control with no control. And this is happening from just basically all over the United States of America.
Mm-hmm.
You push the erosion of the traditional family structure, then you will have your way, because you make them dependent. But now the monster it is out of control. And criminals respect man, God, nor beast. And we often think that it will never come home to our house. Then you hear the cry, but my good child and my good son.
Mm-hmm.
This is designed, my brother Strachan. Get the family. Destabilize the family. You will have chaos. In Haiti right now, economics. The rich are pillars to destabilize Haiti. Right here, economics is no more standard. The family structure is being attacked by design. Get the man out of the house, the enemy can have his way. It's a little deeper than that.
But who's doing that? Who's forcing the man out of the house?
The feminist movement, the effeminate men, and effeminate pastors with their liberal message. Have a wonderful morning.
You know,
who's he talking about when he says effeminate men?
The effeminate men?
Oh, okay. Okay.
Are you saying they don't exist?
I don't know what that means specifically. It's very strange. Okay.
What do you mean?
Effeminate pastors. The married ones? Okay.
Those exist.
They're all married. Okay. Anyway, nobody's making these guys not be in the house. But it seems like it's very attractive when they're out on there with their 25 children for 27 people. But they're even more attractive, it seems. Something is very wrong. And I guess he is correct, the family structure, because people are programmed into some very weird, accepting some weird things.
I had a conversation with a kid recently who's in trouble with the court, who almost went up to Simpson Pen. And I said, what are you going to do after school? And he's like, oh, I want to play ball, but that basketball
job, basketball career.
Yeah, they want to be a basketball player. They don't understand how that works. Clearly,
how tall is he?
He's not very tall at the moment, but he also is not doing well in school. So I don't know where you're going to go do that. Anyway,
video games,
probably got in trouble for, and then he finally opened up about what he might do, and he's like he might do plumbing with his dad. And I said, okay, good. You and your dad, y'all do that now. And he's like, no, I don't see him often.
Oh boy.
And he's like, but I'm gonna try and get with him so he could teach me plumbing. And he's like, but he lives far, and I live where I live.
On this island?
Yes.
Oh, the father does. So why doesn't he see him now? Because the father doesn't want to see him?
I don't think that he thinks that, but I just think that he thinks that maybe the distance is inconvenient.
Oh, for the father.
For both, for the father.
Yeah.
Yeah. And but it was clearly a cry out. And this kid is in trouble. He is in trouble.
Are you able to reach the father?
Well, I have to figure that out.
On you, but
no, I do want to take it on, but you have to figure out how to reach the father. But these young men need to be led and directed by somebody sensible.
Yeah.
And we want that sensible person to be the dad. You understand that?
Yeah. That's a heartbreaking story. Acting like he's living in Oklahoma or something.
Exactly.
My God. Right on this island.
Yep.
So who's doing that? The effeminate pastors and the effeminate men caused that guy to do this? What's that all about? Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, bros. Thank you so much for letting me contribute.
Good morning.
Good morning, Jolly Johnson. Just let me make 3 points. First, we in Monroe, right? you know what makes Marilyn Monroe unique? That he proves the point that if you can't argue against it, and you should never argue against something if you cannot argue for. If you cannot do both things, it means that you don't have a comprehensive understanding of what it is you're arguing about. You're only arguing one side. So he proves that it's for both. Now, in the second point regarding Marilyn Monroe, a previous argument in his previous incarnation, the argument was that bail was a means of guaranteeing a parent, you guarantee that you will reappear to court.
Mm-hmm.
Well, his argument now could be that bail will make sure that you don't show up to court because if you bail.
You shouldn't be laughing at this. This is not. Oh, God.
It's a valid point because you can go to court.
He basically said that.
Yes.
He basically said that.
Yes, that's what he said.
In Turks and Caicos, yeah.
Right, we're giving them bail, and they're not showing up for court because they're dead.
Yep.
But you see, instead of adjusting the laws, this is the crazy argument they're going to use, right? This is what he's suggesting that they will try to use with the judges, which is very strange. Why would you go this route with your with dealing with this problem?
Because nothing else is working.
Well, Dwight, my third point is the problem is a point that Graham made, is that these individuals, especially young men, sees no ownership in a country for which they were born and being raised. And when somebody is disconnected to ownership of something, it has no value to them. And so another point that Matt Sweeting made is the fact that owning a part of the Bahamas is going to become more and more difficult. But that difficulty only exists in the methods and processes that's still being used. He made mention of crowdfunding. But when you look at crowdfunding in a wider aspect of what it is, for instance, tokenization, which is a form of ICO, which is a form of initial coin offering, security token offering, tokenization, everything else, allows for behemoths to move into ownership of the economy, even if in small pieces. More so for these younger people where digital is their native language. No one is having the conversation where a small group of them can see value in, say, we speak about these bed and breakfasts that's replacing the global concept of hotels, where you get 10 or 20 of them to put together a business plan to, say, raise $1 million, which is 1,000 people at $1,000, 100 people at 10,000, whatever combination there is, but it's a viable business plan for execution. If it's a 3 or 4 star, maybe fourplex, that's $250,000 each. Very easily, you could, on the bottom end, net $1,000 a week each. And this is things that is being made, but what happens is we have leadership that somehow has disconnected for the last 22 years of the 21st century and still trying to use the methods of cruise ships and mega resorts that basically extract the wealth out of the country as opposed to putting it in their hands. But you have artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning. All of these things are a natural part of our lives right now. They're not being taught in schools. The 3,000 youths per year that's graduating, that means there's 3,000 people per year or more that's entering. No one is having a conversation of building the future and how a economy and a society of inclusion and joint ownership can occur within the Bahamas. We're simply looking for outsiders to come into the country, take possession of our in exchange for giving us jobs. Dwight, if you ever get a piece of property, I would highly recommend that you call me. I will take one of my children with foreign citizenship. They will take your property for you free of charge, and they will make sure that you get a job taking care of the yard and everything else, and any significant other could clean the inside of the house if you just simply give us the property. And
will I get to live there still?
No,
Oh,
no, you have
okay.
to go find your own apartment. We're just going to take the property, we give you job security in exchange for your property.
Oh, I see.
So what I'm saying is that it's madness for us doing what we continuously want to do. And you have a bill, the Progressive Liberal Party screamed against it going back from the 90s. They have not in 20 years do anything to change it. The Removable Property Act. Nations around the world, like Singapore and other places we love to talk about emulating, 85% of their land is reserved for ownership as the collective, as part of a sovereign trust, even access to it, even space above the apartment. After you build a second floor, you have to rent the third and fourth and fifth floor spaces. And so we can redesign a country and target those 3,000 individuals. So we go, say, from the 9th grade now, 3,000 people is not a lot of people to begin to have a conversation and release the imagination of those individuals so they could have a Bahamas reimagined in their own image, because they're the ones we're going to supposed to be leaving the country for. But you must speak the language. I can't send you to Italy where you don't speak the native language and they don't speak English to have a conversation with the Italians. And so to hear these people speaking a native language being forced to adapt to another language when their native language is digital, and I'm not talking about this whole aspect, I'm talking about the immersion as being part of the water, but we are not doing anything that's available to us. We talk for years about how technology is going to eliminate jobs as we know it, but it creates the same equilibriums of new skill sets in the 21st century. We're not having that. Listen to the people and they tell you, oh, send them to BTVI. Well, if you don't know technology, how could you even emerge in plumbing or carpentry or even construction, because they use the latest technology. And so I'm simply saying we are having a conversation for national development purely out of context from 20th century past, when we should be looking for the 21st century and actually billing now for the 22nd.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Not to mention the people you're trying to send to BTV, I can't read. We going to a break?
I'm sure it's not everybody, Chester.
I did say everybody. A lot of at-risk young men we're trying to send there to learn a trade, can't read.
Wow.
Can't read well.
Oh, okay. Let's take a break. We'll be back. This is Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
To visit you, but only for a while. Then they forget about you like you're going out of style. Cause crime doesn't pay, boy. Crime doesn't pay. Don't throw your life away, boy. Crime doesn't pay. If being bad was good, boy, then why they lock away? Don't mind what your friends say, boy. Crime doesn't pay.
Earning zero interest on your savings at the bank? With as little as $100, you can start earning interest on your money while you're sleeping, eating, or standing in line at the bank with the CFAL Savings Express Plan. Ready to invest? Start by putting $1,000 into our mutual funds and earn interest there too. Because at CFAL, your interest is our interest. Visit CFAL.com to start now. CFAL. Growing wealth for future generations of Bahamians.
At Doctors Hospital, our lamp just got brighter. The Loyalty Advantage membership program, unique plans to choose from. From Lamp Prepaid with free prime care visits and service line discounts, Lamp Insured with copay waivers and zero upfront collections at the ER and inpatient services, or our new Lamp Access, a free plan that offers 10% off labs, pharmacy, and imaging. Lamp has a plan for everyone. To sign up, visit our website or give us a call. Doctors Hospital, trusted and best care now.
It's Nassau Tiles March Madness Sale. And to celebrate 93 years in business and the Bahamas' 50 years of independence, they're giving you 20% off store-wide. Catch the sale on all tiles, linset, grout, mosaics, and more. Save 25% off wood-look tiles and ceramic tiles, and up to 60% on selected items. Their experts will guide you in selecting the right tiles. Visit their showroom on Dowsville Street or call 322-2100 to make your dream space a reality. Don't miss this March Madness anniversary sale from March 27th to the 31st. All sales are final.
We're good for you.
Shopping is so rewarding with my Fidelity credit card. I get the best prices with price protection. Earn and redeem Freedom Point stores. Get cash back. Plus, I booked a cruise. Get your Fidelity credit card today. Call 356-7764.
Every Thursday until April 6th, between 5 and 6 p.m. is Come Gold With Us Thursdays. Follow us and like our Facebook page, 50th Carifta 2023. Then keep a lookout for our team and get a chance to win a golden ticket and many, many more giveaways for the 50th Carifta Games 2023. For more details, email info@carifta50.com or call 808-GOLD.
It is time for your morning business report brought to you by CFAL. Carnival Cruise Line has flagged an 8th ship in the Bahamas with the Bahamas Maritime Authority. According to a Carnival statement, the Carnival Venezia was registered with the BMA yesterday during a ceremony in Spain where the Bahamian flag was raised. Carnival is calling the registration of the ship a milestone, praising the authorities' professionalism and safety standards. You can read more about this in today's Guardian business section. An African country has become the first to receive funds for loss and damage after this was adopted at the 2022 United Nations Climate Change Conference, COP27, for countries suffering physical damage as a result of climate change. That's going to the Caribbean Climate Smart Accelerator. In a statement released yesterday, the country Malawi received over $8.45 million contributed to the L&D fund, that's a loss and damage fund by Scotland after Tropical Cyclone Freddie wreaked havoc on the country. According to the statement, countries agreed to operationalize L&D at COP27, and the Transitional Committee for that formalization will comprise 24 representatives from developed and developing economies. Role it is to outline and set up the official framework for L&D. The statement explained that the 3 people representing the Caribbean on that committee will be Diane Black Lane from Antigua and Barbuda, Avinash Persad from Barbados, and Milagros de Camp from Dominican Republic. Several other countries outside of Scotland, including Denmark and Austria, have also provided funds to L&D, the technical body that oversees the Santiago network or similar initiatives. You can read more on this in today's Guardian business section. And a Supreme Court justice has ruled that the proprietary injunction on the sale of 6.52 acres of land to a food giant be continued, and she urged the parties involved to move the matter to trial without further delay. The matter involves AML Foods Limited, the plaintiff, and trustees of the Bahamas Supermarket Employees Retirement Fund, the first defendants, BSL Retirement Plan Limited, the second defendants, and Wenslaw Turnquest, who represented the beneficiaries of the BSL Profit Sharing Retirement Plan, and Abdab Properties Limited. Justice Diane Stewart handed down the ruling on Monday. The Bahamas Supermarket Employees Retirement Fund was the purported owners of the 6.52 acres of land on the East-West Highway and purported to convey the property to AML Foods for more than $2 million in July 2017. You can read all about it in today's Guardian business section. Overseas, U.S. lawmakers saying today that Credit Suisse has kept allowing wealthy Americans to dodge tax payments, finding after a 2-year investigation that the embattled Swiss bank violated a 2014 plea agreement over allowing tax evasion by its clients. The U.S. Senate Finance Committee pointed to an ongoing, possibly criminal conspiracy tied to nearly $100 million in secret offshore accounts belonging to a family of American taxpayers that the bank Suisse helped a U.S. businessman hide more than $220 million in offshore accounts from the IRS. Credit Suisse revealing that it had found 23 accounts, each worth more than $20 million, that were not declared to tax authorities, many of them unveiled just days before the report was released. It said its findings show that more than $700 million was concealed in violation of the bank's 9-year-old plea deal with the U.S. Justice Department. And striking sanitation workers in Paris are set to return to work today, potentially ending one of the most enduring symbols of resistance to French President Emmanuel Macron's controversial pension bill, as nationwide protests appear to be winding down. Cleanup crews were set today to start picking up heaps of trash that had piled up over their week-long strike beginning March 6th, weeks long actually, as well as debris from the streets following the 10th nationwide anti-pension reform protest a day earlier. Trash mounds of up to 10,000 tons along the French capital streets, matching the weight of the Eiffel Tower, have become a striking visual and a smelly reminder of opposition to Macron's bill raising the retirement age from 62 to 64. In a decision that sent waves of relief among Paris residents, the powerful union representing the sanitation workers announced that the 3-week-long strike will at least be suspended. As of today, they will join others who were legally requisitioned over the last week to help with the daunting cleanup process. Closer to home, in your Market Watch, recapping the market movers. Consolidated water up 12 cents, closing at 2.33 cents, closing at $10.06. The Basics All Share Index closing at 2,393.87, unchanged. That's your Market Watch, and that is your morning business report brought to you by CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.
Oh yeah. Let's go. You do the crime, you must do the time. KB and Sting say so. Oh yeah. Let's go. Crime doesn't pay, boy. Crime doesn't pay. Don't throw your life away, boy. Crime doesn't pay. If being bad was good, boy, then why they lock out?
Our final few minutes of Morning Gun Business on this Wednesday morning. Dwight Strachan along with Chester Robards. We're talking about the crime situation in the country and the impact that's having and what we're doing and what we're not doing. We're not doing a lot of things. More can be done. A whole lot more can be done. And we've been saying this. Many of you have been saying these things for decades, and yet we're still here. Just seeking, it seems, Band-Aid solutions or whitewash solutions to deep-seated problems. And I think it was something interesting that National Security Minister Wayne Monroe said about how they have to go back and look at their strategies, right, Chester, about dealing with younger people as the age of the hitmen seems to be getting younger and younger. And I think, but didn't we know this? That you have to start from preschool, from the time you can talk?
Yeah.
The time you can walk. And we've seen it. Horrible little kids. Horrible. Mm-hmm. Like, this child would end up being. We can see that. But yet, here we are. Let's take some calls. 323-6232. 325-4316. 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. A lot of people, and faith is good and you need to have it, but people really have been leaving everything up to faith and prayers and chance. Like, they're going to grow out of this, they're going to snap out of it, the Lord's going to make a way, and everything's going to be great. You have to play a role in this as well, right? The humans aren't quite weeds. You do need to tend to them and guide them. And
so you're not saying that we don't need that other stuff?
No, you need it.
Okay.
But you can't just rely on that.
Faith without works.
Exactly. But that's what people have been doing, clearly. Like, I was a bad kid too, and I turned out fine. Sure. But no, you can't let them raise themselves. You can't just expect, the teachers will fix it. I said several prayers yesterday. It'll be fine. No. Caller, what say you? Good morning.
Morning again, Dwight. I was the one who sent that text about $1 million. Dwight, what is the difference between somebody who commits a murder, who is accused of murder, who lives in Lyford Key, and one who is accused of murder in Baintown?
Thousands of dollars. What's your point? What are you trying to say?
No, my point is that you were saying that that the bail should be reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
Based on what?
Well, that's what the lawyers say.
No, but
that the law says.
The law.
No, apparently it
law?
does. Yes, apparently it must be.
No, because Lady Justice is supposed to be blind. She doesn't see things. She sees something. Both of them are accused of murder, and both of them should be given, the same amount of in relation to crime. I listened to some people who were who did some heinous crimes in the United States.
Yeah,
and the judge gave them, what they gave them bond? Several $1 million. They didn't. they didn't look at
Well, they don't have the same laws that we do. And,
yeah, but so we need to change the laws, man. We need to change the law because justice is supposed to be blind.
I brought up that same question.
Support the bail or not?
Yeah.
Is that you committed the crime, and this is the standard, and until that change, ain't nothing gonna happen.
We had some lawyers on. We had some. We had professors at Eugene DePeach Law School on. This was it last year? And I brought up the same thing. I said, well, you're accused of murdering 5 children. Why would your bail be $10,000? And they say, well, if you are unemployed and poor, and then that's reasonable bail.
That is not. Well, I mean, that is not how the law ought to look at individuals.
That's how it ought not to, but that's how it does.
This is what Mr. Monroe should be working on. This is what he should be asking his Attorney General and bringing before Parliament. These are the things that he needs, that he said that the courts and the justice system need to change. He's the one who, the COP is not a parliamentarian. We send them to the Parliament in order to make laws for the good governance of this country. That is what he ought to be working on, and instead of just doing anyhow, I go on.
I hear you. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Well, are they going to do anything, right? But this texter says, what they wanted to kill the cop who protects me while I am sleeping. I don't blame the cop. Kill them all and let God, I don't know what this word is, sort them out.
Okay.
I'm not sure what's happening. Okay.
I'm looking for this thing on immigration thing. I don't see.
You sure?
I don't see it.
You want to bring that up? Okay. Dwight, the international financial regulators always go after the Bahamas and developing nations and give them bad ratings. Let's see if they go after the Switzerland and Credit Suisse the same way they go after us. Well, I think it's a little bit different there. So, I mean, it's a little different. It's one they don't normally do that with one institution, do they? It's just the country.
Country.
Right. So, yeah. And I mean, yeah. It's a little different. And guaranteed that's one bank in Switzerland. So, come on. But I hear you. So where do we go from here? You think anything's going to change? You think this is, we're getting people who are getting younger. We've seen that. People getting bolder. They're shooting the cops, no matter what time of day. They're shooting at everybody whenever they want. It keeps happening. People out on bail.
Because everything's a movie.
People out on bail.
We even use it as a colloquial.
We've seen the pattern for years, and yet we have no legal movement on this. We're still here. What's going to happen next? When the House meets next, are they going to move any legislation to address these issues? Or are we just going to have more talk? What are we doing?
A little more talk.
More talk. We've still got more talking to do.
Right, yeah.
Okay. Well, folks, people didn't like it when the police said it to you, but you have to be careful. If you got some friends out on bail, you have to question whether they should be in the car with you. Yeah. Should you be standing next to them on the line for your chicken? Chicken in the bag? I don't know. If you see someone with an ankle bracelet, ask them to stand several feet away. Act like COVID is still around. So you got to stand over there, Chief. You don't want to get too close to this.
Yeah.
And so this is how we've got to act. Don't have that person out on bail in your house or in your yard. Don't talk to them on the wall because you know what's going to happen. Is it offensive to you to hear that? Well, yeah, be offended. That's unfortunately where we are today. And it doesn't look like things are going to change because some people aren't done talking yet. So keep that in mind and keep yourself safe.
And if you want to get your mind off it in the meantime, go by the stadium. It's a nice Christmas tree. USA blue tent out there.
Why would you?
Go check that out.
As the countdown is on for Carifta, 10 days.
All right.
10 days away. Right. Chester Robards, thank you very much, sir. Have a great day. I'll be back tomorrow morning with more Morning Blend and Morning Blend Business right here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Guardian Radio and Morning Blend Business brought to you in part by Scotiabank. Effective April 3rd, Scotiabank customers will be asked to complete a number of transactions using Scotia Online, the Scotia mobile app, or the ATM to assist with the transition. Scotia is opening branches every Saturday for the month of April to receive customers in need of additional guidance. To see which branches will be open each Saturday, visit bs.scotiabank.com. Scotiabank looks forward to helping you access the simpler and more convenient way to bank with Scotia. Have a great day, everybody. On the Clock with Aaron Green next.
Crime doesn't pay. Listen, prison only look good from the outside, but when you behind bars, boy, now that's a different vibe. The first thing you regret, boy, is the last thing.